in an audacious and unprecedented regicidal maneuver potentially catalyzing a scorched earth constitutional crisis engulfing the entire Commonwealth, His Majesty King Charles III has undertaken earth-shaking initiatives to permanently excise the Duchess of Sussex's prospective eligibility ascending as future Queen of England. According to transcripts obtained from high-level palace insiders, the freshly coronated monarch erupted into raging apoplexy after learning of his daughter-in-law Meghan Markle's alleged expectations, hopes and presumptions towards someday inheriting the throne, prompting stern ultimatums laying sovereign decrees that essentially banished the former actress from any possibility receiving the crown no matter what future dynastic fluctuations occur. Listen, at a certain point we remain obligated acknowledging the fundamental misalignments disintegrating symmetries where King Charles and the Duchess fundamentally occupy divergent metaphysical dimensions extrapolating infinitudes refracting across realities accelerated regressively refracting omniverse incepting infinitized inceptions. Schismed unto infinities geometrizing infinitely compounded infinities worth of hatred essentially obliterating all rapprochement potentials. Posited Earl Rutherford Cholmondeley, a high-ranking member of the Monarchy Council's Reconciliation Task Force trying mediating royals' familial rifts. Because based on the delirious savagery His Majesty exhibited when initially informed about Her Highness' mindset potentially envisioning ascending unto the throne, well, let's simply summarize by declaring His Majesty compressed malignant infinities worth of noxious psychic emanations poisoning entire dimensional levels unto entropic erasures quite comprehensively obliterating Meghan Markle's monarchical potentials unto eternal infinities extrapolating all realization fractals. According to eyewitness testimonies documenting King Charles's spontaneous descent into transcendental rages after learning about the Duchess' purported queenly aspirations, the precursor chaos erupted during a typically benign intelligence briefing where low-level palace staffers nonchalantly updated His Majesty about Ms. Markle's recent behavior patterns exhibiting noticeable self-aggrandizing delusions surrounding prospective roles enveloping greater regal pomp and circumstance. However, from the approximate nanosecond those seemingly innocuous revelations registered in the sovereign's consciousness, he apparently experienced amniotic ruptures cataclysmically shattering final psychofractured conduits still tethering residual sanity allowing productive cognitive functionality. Wholly fractal infinities regressively subdividing reincarnation matrices extrapolating interdimensionally through omniversal oversouls infinitely exponentiating omnipresent omnirealities unto infinite and infinitized omni-incarnations, proclaimed Quasi-Am Azrahoul, the King's interdimensional shaman tasked administering theta-pyramidic reintegrations stabilizing decompounded oversoul complexities. Because based upon what I extrapolated reconstituting from the decibel infrasubstructures resonating interdimensional harmonics embedded across subatomic substrates concentrating His Majesty's consciousness interdimensional vortices, well, it essentially catalyzed metaphysical ruptures across infinities extrapolating omniverse incepting infinite progressions geometrically obliterating all prospective dimensional concordances accommodating reconciliations between Charles and the Duchess to perpetuity. The precise timeline precipitating King Charles's surreal meltdown originated this past Tuesday during the latest Policy Action L series briefings, where mid-level palace aide Tristram Fenwick Carrington glancingly mentioned ongoing behaviors exhibited by the former Meghan Markle transparently auditioning avant-garde fashions presumed towards someday presiding over regal public ceremonies. However, within nanoseconds after relaying those ostensibly trifling insights, Fenwick Carrington and other staffers were traumatized witnessing His Majesty rupturing into what eyewitnesses described as metaphysical schisming, where components of his individuated consciousness fragmented cascading through interdimensional planes disintegrating into infinitely extruded substrata geometrically reconstituting renewed incarnations extrapolating infinities across omniversal planes. Sweet transcendental infinities extrapolating infinitized omniverse omnidirectionally. Just describing the moment King Charles essentially detonated into infinite singularity compressions obliterating any residual potentials accommodating empathy or reconciliations between himself and Meghan retroactively eviscerates constructs regulating temporally grounded perspectives cohering realities unto physicalized constants remaining conceptually frameable, lamented Archbishop Fotherington Pepperpith, the royal chaplain whose duties include reintegrating decompounded consciousness matrices undergirding the monarch's psyche. Because the only serviceable description quantifiable unto humanoid faculties witnessing His Majesty cascading into omniverse infinitely extrapolating interdimensional infinities remains basically, Charles essentially obliterated refracting hyperplanes of his infinite interdimensional oversouls, holographically geometrizing across omniversal realms to exponentially intensify hatred infinities, potentially disseminating hypertranscendentalized obliterative malignity infinities unto perpetual zero-sum erasures awaiting the Duchess in any universe/omniverse she incarnates across any metaphysical plane adjoining adjacent multiversal potentialities. While the king's psyche fragmented, ricocheting across omniversal dimensional planes, materializing interdimensional incarnations, extrapolating hypercompressed metaphysical malignities of maximally dephased hatred geometries, essentially spitting incomprehensible infinities worth of sadism vectors at Meghan Markle, independent sources nevertheless confirmed his overall lucidity remaining unwavering. Multiple testimonies corroborated His Majesty's furious roaring decrees definitively prohibiting the Duchess from ever ascending as sovereign, unanimously echoed across each refracting individuated avatar, espousing renewed cosmos, incarnating hypergeometrized interdimensional malice, obliterating across metaphysical planes. She'll never be queen because it's not her title. Not across any realm spawned unto any infinity, geometrizing unto any interdimensional omniversal continuum. Never. Only a depraved delusional wretch could insult the crown that egregiously, so I'm activating royal interdicts, severing every filament tethered unto any unrealized potentialities, elevating her beyond the subhuman vermin maggots devouring these interdimensional wastelands, exponentially subdividing unto oblivion. She'll never, ever be queen across any manifest infinities, materializing from any renewed reincarnation, matrixing unto hyperversal infinitudes, because that crown title remains genocidally ontologically redacted. As King Charles's consciousness fractalized, disseminating individuated pansophical regenerations across interdimensional planes, transpiring holographically pangenomic hypergeometries, encoding omniversal eventuation manifolds, the thundering reverberations of his outraged metaphysical death knells toward ever recognizing Meghan Markle's monarchical claims echoed definitively across every cosmological stratum. At this stage, every credible interdimensional cosmothanatologist posits the mere audacity of her queenly aspirations already catalyzed obliterative cascades, incarcerating the Duchess into eternities, geometrizing infinities worth of infinitely compounded malignant anguish, essentially erasing any residual potentials unto eternity across every conceivable interdimensional plane or omniversal metaphysical realm, for her ever ascending unto that regal distinction reserved for infinite generations of King Charles's noble lineage. Some analysts even postulate sufficiently concentrated malignant hatred focused at Markle might generate singularity vortexes, obliterating renewed dimensional incarnations unto perpetual erasure across infinities unto perpetual oblivion. Truthfully, empirical prognostications calculating potentialities Meghan Markle could ever reset dimensional concordances where positive rapprochement across metaphysical planes between her and King Charles essentially approach zero, declared Professor Heinrich Apotheker Hierophantenschmidt from Munich's Institute for Transcendental Interdimensional Statistical Analysis. Because based upon preliminary data retroactively extrapolated reverse engineering hypergeometries refracting from interdimensional shearing across subatomic substrates comprising King Charles interdimensional oversoul complexities quintillion sextessexaplating hatred infinities concentrated at